Hi guys, welcome back to the Cozy Corner. Today I am filming a video that I've been putting off for ages, but it's got to the point where I need to do the video because my book haul has gone out of hand. Now these are the books that I've either got off of Vinted or in charity shops, thrift shops, op shops, depending on where you live in the world, little free libraries, second-hand pre-loved books, apart from I think there might be two books in here, or 3 books I got new but did not pay full price for. So with that being said, let's go through what I've actually got. So the first thing I've got is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and I got this one off of Vinted, and the sender was so sweet. She also sent me some little tabs with a book review sticker in the back and a highlighter for annotating, so I'm really grateful for that. I have been after this book for quite a while and have not been able to find it in a charity shop, so I had the genius thought of looking on Vinted. I don't usually look on Vinted for books, it's never crossed my mind before, but I'm so glad I did because I got Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca and I cannot wait to read this. Going on from that, I have 1,000 Splendid Suns. I do own The Kite Runner, but I have not read it yet. But this is another one on my TBR, and I could not wait to read it. It was, I think it was 25p from a bookshop, charity bookshop. So love that one. It is quite a big paperback edition, but it's not over heavy, so I'm thinking it should be okay to read. And then I want to start my Disney Twisted Tales, and I found this one in the charity shop, and this one is called Reflection. It's a twisted tale of Mulan, what happened if she went to fight underground. By underground I'm guessing they mean the bad underground, but I don't know yet because I haven't started reading. But I love Mulan. It's one of my favourite Disney films, and she's probably my favourite Disney princess as well. And the flop on this book is 10 out of 10. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. You'll hear me say that a lot through this video because I'm really looking forward to reading all of these. The Woman in White and Wilkie Collins was a recommendation from a friend. I was out with her and we popped into various charity shops, and I saw this and I'd picked it up before. I was like, what's this like? And she was like, oh, it's so good. So I picked it up. I haven't started it yet. I haven't started any of these yet. Pretty good flop on it. We love a good flop test. It's in really good condition for the charity shop actually. So that's another one I am intrigued to start reading. Now, I may have lost my mind slightly. Mind you, this wasn't the edition that I ordered. I ordered this off of Word Books, and it was meant to be the new updated Wordsworth Classic edition, but I've got an old one. And the text, it's a chunkster. I knew it was going to be chunky, but the text, it is so small that even with my glasses on, I am struggling to see this. So I don't know what to do because it's like 1,000 pages. So I'm keeping my eye out for another edition. But I might have to audiobook this alongside reading it because I feel I'm going to lose my eyesight trying to read that. Why did I buy it? Because everybody's talking about it in Bookstagram and Book Talk. And I didn't want to miss out. Is that only chapter 4? Oh, 14. I thought that was chapter 4. It's about 300 pages in. Then I got Frances Hodgson Burnett, who wrote The Secret Garden is a Princess. Secret Garden is one of my favourite children's classics. And I found this one, Little Lord Fauntleroy. Probably butchered that. But it is an illustrated little storybook. So I'm quite intrigued to read that. It finds out that he's a lord and his father was an earl. I think that's the premise of the story anyway. So I'm intrigued to read that. I know it's a kid's book, but as I said, I do love Secret Garden, so I'm hoping that I like this one. I wasn't as keen on Little Princess, so I'm not sure where that one will land. Okay, then I've got a few more Wordsworth classics. I've got The Diary of a Nobody, which I've never read and I've heard is quite good. It's nice and short, so it'll be a nice little palette cleanser between heavy reads. Look at the flop. Loving the flop on these books. And it's in such good condition, like the spine isn't even cracked, so it literally looks like somebody's bought it and then just donated it straight away. I have Shakespeare's Hamlet. I read this for A level, but I read it in Spanish. That's a lie, I read it in Catalan. But I would really like to read it in English, so that's why I got a copy of Hamlet. I've heard so much about this book as well, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. I've not read any James Joyce yet, and this one sounded really intriguing, so I thought I'd start here and then see where we go. But I think, is it Jack Edwards? He talks about this book quite a lot, and I've seen other booktubers talk on this one as well. My next one is Anne of Green Gables. I've never read Anne of Green Gables, and funny enough, when I was out with my mum today, we were in a charity shop and she saw a different edition of Anne of Green Gables. She's like, oh my goodness, I read this when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I've actually got a copy that I'm going to read. And again, like, it's in literally near perfect condition. The spine's not even cracked. Good flop. I keep putting this one off because I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, but everybody I've spoken to have said that they've really enjoyed it. So, I don't know, fear of disappointing others because I'm not going to like it, potentially. Now, when I ordered this one, I didn't realise it was going to be quite as chunky as it is. I thought it was a nice little short story, and that is The Ragged Trousered Philanthropist. I'm not even quite sure I know what a philanthropist is, to be honest. But I will find out as I read the story. Short chapters. Font's okay, could be a little bit bigger, but it's not as bad as War and Peace. So I'll let you guys know how I get on with that one when I start it. My goodness, I bought so many books, this is ridiculous. Right, this is a poetry book. Thoughts from a Damaged Mind. This is like self-help poetry, and I think it's a gentleman who wrote this one. Yeah, a gentleman who is a retired police officer, writing poems to get through his mental health journey. I find them these type of books quite helpful, more helpful than self-help books in my opinion. For me personally, I relate to them more. So I'm really intrigued to start reading that one. It's been a nice little quick one. And then I got Stephen King's The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. This isn't the edition that I ordered, but that's okay, we just need to let it go. I borrowed this book from the library a couple of years ago, and it's in my top 3 Stephen King, along with The Shining and The Institute. But if you want a Stephen King that isn't creepy or scary, go with this one. It's such a good little story. I read it in one sitting, and I can't wait to reread my own copy so I can annotate as I go along, because it's got some real little nuggets in here. Now the next book is super geeky, but it's the right way to play chess. I love playing chess. I'm not extremely good at it, but I'm improving. So I'm hoping that after reading this, it might give me a few pointers on how to improve my game. But I feel this will be a dip in, dip out book, not a sit down and read for 3-4 hours. But who knows, maybe it is that helpful and catching that you just don't want to put it down. Okay, we're nearly at the bottom of the first pile. Okay, right. Franz Kafka, The Trial. I read Franz Kafka again for A-level. We did universal literature at A-level. So I read it in Spanish. I read The Metamorphosis and I really liked it. I never really read anything like it before. And when I saw that he'd written The Trial and I read the synopsis, I was like, that actually sounds really interesting. So I'm hoping I can put this on my TBR pretty soon. The Art of Being Normal. And the reason I picked this one up is because it was 4 books for £1 and I'd chosen 3 and I just needed something else because otherwise it was either that offer or you paid £1 per book. So I was like, well, I might as well make a good deal. It's a YA. Philip Pullman calls it a life-changing and life-saving book. I'll let you guys know. I think it's a friendship between 2 outcasts. Yeah, 2 outsiders, 2 secret. David wants to be a girl, Leo wants to be invisible. When Leo stands up for David in a fight, an unlikely friendship forms. So it might be really good, but I picked it up as a quick book just to fill up the 4 for the price of 1. The next one is a book that's been on my TBR for a really long time. That is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I read Beloved and I really like the style of writing. And when I found Beloved, I'd actually been looking for The Bluest Eye. This is the only Toni Morrison that I actually wanted to read to begin with. But I found others and I really liked them. And I finally found The Bluest Eye and I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Cannot wait to start reading this. It's about a little black girl who wishes that she had blue eyes like her classmates. And it's set in, does it say where in America it's set? Ohio in the 1940s, so post-depression. It talks a lot about race and where you fit in society. And I'm very much excited to start reading this one. Next one I've got is a, what is it called? Alone in Berlin. And I believe this is post-war or during the war. 1940 Berlin. The city is paralysed by fear, but one man refuses to be scared. It's about a gentleman who's trying to hide from the war, but when he finds out that his son has been killed in the war, he feels that he can't stay quiet anymore and he has to not retaliate, but he doesn't retaliate in a violent way as such. I think he either sends postcards to Hitler anonymously or leaves postcards about Hitler about. I think, from what I've heard, I think he tries to sway the German population to go against Hitler. I love reading about World War II. It is my second favourite historical period to read about, so I am very interested to see how historically correct this book is. It doesn't do too bad on the flop test. I mean, it could be floppier, but also it's not massively stiff, so I'm okay with that. Next, another book that has been on my TBR for the longest time, and that is Slaughterhouse-Five. Was this the edition that I wanted? No, it was not. Is it the edition I got? Yes, it is. Sometimes you've just got to be very grateful that you've actually finally found the book. I have very little idea what this is about, apart from that it's about, I believe, a prisoner of war. That's the only thing I know about it. Oh, it smells really old. It does smell really old. When's this edition published? Not really old in like a bad, stinky way, but it just smells like an old book. Oh, 2000. It's not that old. First published in 1969. Interesting. Yes, so been on my TBR for the longest time, and now I can't wait to read it. I feel I need to hurry this up because we've still got a whole pile to get through. Right. In Cold Blood, Truman Capote. Now, I'm not sure if this is a fiction based on a true story or if it's just a non-fiction. I can't remember if I picked this up in the crime section or the true crime section. But all I know is it's Truman Capote makes friends with these people who have murdered a family, and writes their story from behind prison bars. So obviously people in prison, he goes and visits them and interviews them, and he writes this book about what really happened. And apparently he formed quite a really good friendship with one of the murderers. Yes, it's about killers Perry Smith and Dick Hickok, who murdered a Kansas farmer, his wife and children in 1959. So it sounds like it is a non-fiction. I do love me a good true crime book. And the last book from this pile is Henry James. This is 2-in-1. This is the Aspern Papers and the Turn of the Screw. I bought this for the Turn of the Screw. That's the one that I wanted to read. It just so happens that, oh, it's annotated. Huh. Did not know that. That's fine. I like reading other people's annotations because it's interesting to see how each person interprets what they've read. So yeah, I got that for the Turn of the Screw, but I might as well read the Aspern Papers while I'm at it. Okay, so that's pile 1. Let's go on to the second pile. The first one I got is Ernest Hemingway, The Snows of Kilimanjaro. I have no idea what this is about. I've not read any Ernest Hemingway yet. The one I've wanted to read was The Old Man in the Sea, but I've not been able to find that in a charity shop yet. So I'm going to start with this one. I think it's a book of short stories. So I thought it'd be quite good to get into to see if I like the style of writing. As I said, don't know what any of the stories are about, so I'm going to go into this one blind. Next, I got Ted Hughes' Tales from Ovid. And I think this looks like a poetry book. I don't know much about Ted Hughes or what this book is about. The cover was intriguing. I had a quick flick through, looked like poetry. I was in a bit of a rush, picked it up. Not much more I can say about that one. Charles Dickens' Christmas book. I have tried to read The Christmas Carol 3 times and I've DNF'd it 3 times. Now, so this book has The Christmas Carol in it and a couple of other Christmas stories. So I'm hoping this year I can get myself to read A Christmas Carol and actually finish it, because it's not even that long. It's not even that many pages. I think it's literally, it's like 80 pages in this edition anyway. So yeah, this one will go on the shelf and be a December read, and I'm not going to think about it in the meantime. Virginia Woolf, Jacob's Room. Since reading A Room of One's Own, I've really struggled to find a Virginia Woolf book that I've liked. Until recently, I read Orlando and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So I saw another Virginia Woolf and I am hoping I'm going to like this one as well. I have no idea what's it about. I literally saw Virginia Woolf and went, yep, 25p, I'll give that a go. Right, so this is one of the new books I picked up, and I got this one because the shop I got it from was closing down and I got it for £1.50 when it's usually £10.99, so that was a bargain. And I've heard a lot of people talk about Joan Didion. I don't know that much about her. This one is, I think it talks about, yeah, like the meaning of life or giving life meaning. And I believe it follows the year that her husband dies, and her daughter is critically ill, and how she managed to get through that year and give life meaning, I guess. Yeah, don't know much about it, to be honest, just a lot of people on BookTube are talking about it, so thought I'd give it a go. Right, D.H. Lawrence. I've read nothing by D.H. Lawrence. Oh, look at the flop on that. How satisfying is that? Years. Oh, I hate books I have to start halfway down a page. So frustrating. So frustrating. Anyway, this is Sons and Lovers. I have no idea what it's about. I picked it up in Literary Library, saw it was a classic, and thought I'll give it a go, which is basically my mentality when I see a classic book at the moment. A semi-autobiographical masterpiece where he explores emotional conflicts with his suffocating relationships with his demanding mother and two very different lovers. Yeah, don't know, it's a classic, picked it up. Cover was alright, thought I'd give it a go. Another one I picked up from a free little library is Jean Le Carrier, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. I've heard a lot about this book, absolute zero flop to it. Not read any of his work before, found it in a free little library and thought, might got to start somewhere. So that's one I'm starting with. This is another free little library pick. I read this when I was in my early-ish teens. I want to say I was like 14, 15 when I first read this. I love Herman Hesse. Damien is one of my favourite classics. But I don't remember anything that happened in this book. I know that I read it because my Goodreads told me that I've read it, but I don't remember anything that happened. So when I saw it in the free little library, I was like, right, let's reread it and see what it was all about. We're nearly there, guys. We're nearly there, I promise. Let me grab a bunch at a time. Right. It's a little bit broken, but that's okay. Wuthering Heights. Now, I know I recently read it, or audiobooked it, and I was like, I think I said it on the vlog, I was like, what the heck was this all about? But as I did it as an audiobook, so just removing stickers while I'm talking, I wanted to have a physical copy because maybe actually seeing the words, I will understand them more. Maybe I won't. We shall see. Also, the cover's pretty cool. Another one that I've been wanting to read for a while is Black Beauty. Now, I wanted to get this as an audiobook from my little library app, but the waiting list for this book is extremely long. So when I found it at a discounted price, I was like, do you know what? I'll give it a go. Lovely cover, good print, pretty good flop, bit of a bargain really. Right, E.M. Forster, A Room with a View. Heard a lot of people talking about this, no idea what it's about. But yeah, picked up for the cover, to be honest. For the cover and because it was a classic. I thought I'd removed all the stickers before I started this video. Missed a couple. Oh, that's super sticky. Okay. Yeah, quite floppy. Look at that cover. It's so pretty. This is another book that I got new. I got this one from work, so I got a staff discount, and that is the sixth and final book to The Six Tudor Queens by Alison Waite, and this is Catherine Parr. This is the last book that I needed to complete the series, and I couldn't find it in any of the charity shops. I've been looking for a few months now, so I just bit the bullet and ordered myself one, and the flop is so satisfying. Love that. I'm really excited to start this series. It's a series that I keep putting off because I didn't have the final book, but now that I've got a final book, I can't wait to start it. John Steinbeck, East of Eden. Is this the edition that I ordered? No. Does it matter? No. I'm trying not to let it matter. Thankfully, the text is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, but it's still not as big as I would like it. I've heard such good things about this. I've read Of Mice and Men and I absolutely love that. I love the style of writing, so I'm hoping I'm going to really like East of Eden as well. I've heard that once you've read East of Eden, you're going to struggle to find something else that makes you feel as deeply as this book does. I'm up for a challenge. Okay guys, last little pile. We are so there. So I may have bought another big book. Any guesses? Les Mis. Les Mis. It's got decent sized writing. It is an absolute monster. It is a whopping 1,304 pages. For a big book, it actually does have flop to it. Yeah, picked up for 50p. Can't really grumble, can you really? I have wanted to read this for a while, but it is something that really intimidates me because it is by far the biggest. I'm just seeing what is kind of meant to say. Yeah, the biggest book I own. That's fine. The Last 7 Months of Anne Frank, told from 6 women who knew Anne Frank. I read The Diaries of Anne Frank when I was a kid, like 9 or 10 years old. I think we had to read it for school. So I want to do a reread of that, and then I want to read this as well. Oh, it's got a postcard of lots of little different photos of Anne Frank on it. Very excited and intrigued to read that. Tom's Midnight Garden. Again, I picked up because it was a classic and I haven't read it yet. I think growing up in Spain, I did miss out on reading a lot of classics that other British kids would have read at school. So I'm just trying to catch up on everything that I missed out on. This is a very battered and beat up copy. Is this in the library? Oh, it's got somebody's address in it. I won't show that. The God of Small Things. Now, for some reason, this book, let's compare it to the size of a normal book, is in little format. I'm not complaining because it takes up less space in my bag. This is a book that I keep picking up when I go into Waterstones and reading the blurb and thinking about it and putting it back and picking it up and putting it back and picking it up. So when I found it in the charity shop, I was like, perfect. I don't really know a lot what it's about. Is it to the 2 little girls? Yes, 2 twins, Esther and Rachel. Is it something to do with jam as well? I don't know, it's one of those really annoying copies that doesn't have a blurb, it just has different quotes from different people, which is not very helpful. But yeah, excited to read that. And then I got Philippa Gregory, The Red Queen. I'm just double checking because I picked this up half blind, so I wasn't sure if I had it. I don't. Fabulous. So this is to add to my Tudors and Plantagenet series by Philippa Gregory. It's in really good condition. It's got a nice feel to it. Not massively floppy, but I know I'll enjoy it. Another one I picked up to make up before, this was a different time for the 4 for £1, was Robin Crusoe by Danielle Defoe. I know very little about this apart from it was written in the 1700s and I believe it's to do with pirates. Could be wrong. Who knows? Who knows? Again, not much of a blurb on here. Nope, not a blurb at all. Fabulous. I'm going to say it's about pirates and treasure, and there's an island. It looks sunny. Another book I'll go into blind. Augie and Me, 3 Wonder Stories. I read Wonder. I read Wonder as a kid, or as like a teen, and I reread it again recently, and it's one of those books that when you reread as an adult, you pick up on so much more. And I found the second one. So this is stories from Julian, Christopher, and Charlotte. So I cannot wait to read that. I recently read This Is Gonna Hurt by Adam Kay. And I've got another one of his. It was The Night Shift Before Christmas. So again, I'm going to leave this one as a Christmas read, but his other book was really funny, so I'm hoping this one will be just as funny. And the last one, guys, we've made it. We have made it. Is, I picked this one up at Church Shop. This was Looking for Alaska by John Green. I've not read any John Green before. I keep seeing Paper Towns. Is that what it's called? And what's the other one I keep seeing? The Fault in Our Stars. And I've read the back of the blurbs of those, and I don't know. And I read the back of this one. I was like, it's like, if people were rain, I was drizzle, and she was a hurricane. I was like, sold. Perfect. She sounds destructive. She sounds fabulous. I don't know what her story is. Not a clue. Could be tragic. Could be great. I'm going to find out. I'm excited to find out. So that is it, guys. We have a new 42 books, which is great. But where are they all going to go? That sounds like a problem for another day. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these, if you'd like to read any of these, and what classics you think I should read, because I've read very few classics. I'm slowly making my way through them, but I do need recommendations. So comment below and let me know. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye!